The video updates began in May of 2005, and originally they were way more laid back.
Hey folks, Mike Naso here from radio.nhcwx.com, and it looks like we got a thread out there. And
at the time, really, it was just a couple of people saying, hey, can you do a video update? Because at the time we were streaming video along with our audio broadcasts. And as the season wore on into June and then July with Hurricane Dennis and Emily, obviously that year the professionalism set in, and suddenly we realized that these video updates were a crucial part of IPR and the coverage that we provide. And we all did a magnificent job. Mike Watkins did his updates.
Good evening, folks. Mike Watkins on from Radio NHCWX and Hurricane Project.
Zach Fridella did updates, especially on severe weather events in the south portions of the United States. And
I'm Zach Fridella here at Radio NCWX, and this is your Southeast United States weather outlook for June 27, 2005.
If I had to say memory updates that stick out in my memory, Hurricane Dennis in 2005 as it was leaving Cuba and strengthening over the Gulf.
Hey folks, Mike Naso here. Hurricane Dennis continuing towards the northeast Gulf Coast, residents rushing to complete their tasks for what looks to be at least a Category 3 hurricane, and the date of July 10th, 2005 will go down as a historic date in hurricane history.
We had Kevin Cho obviously helping out with IPR, and he was very, very informative with his updates.
Welcome to Southwest Florida. I'm Kevin Cho in East Naples, Collier County, Florida. Tropical storm force warnings up from most of South Florida as well as most of the West Coast from Tampa down to Naples.
Katrina stuck in my mind mainly because we didn't have video updates at the time for Katrina. There were some technical issues on my end that prevented me from doing any updates on Katrina at all, other than the live audio coverage, obviously.
And everybody, welcome to special Hurricane Katrina coverage here on Radio and HCWX. I'm Mike Naso alongside Zach Fridella, Mike Adcock, and the rest of the Radio and HCWX.
There is one update that I have from during Katrina.
Hey folks, Mike Naso here from Radio and HCWX. We have an extraordinary hurricane off the coast of Louisiana. This is Hurricane Katrina. And Hurricane Katrina has winds of 160 miles per hour, making it a Category 5 hurricane.
I don't really remember any preparation for that update. It was more just trying to capture the moment, which I think, looking at that, we did. And that shows just how personal these storms were to us, knowing how many people were going to be affected, knowing what was going to go on. Then you had Rita affecting the Gulf Coast, obviously. It was a very powerful hurricane. 2006, the updates became more what they are today, but obviously it was more quiet season. Not much to talk about in 2006.
We're going to start with Tropical Storm Gordon. Final advisories being written. 50 miles an hour is moving to the east-northeast at 34,997 millibars. It's going to be extratropical later tonight.
2007, Hurricane Dean and Felix, the Category 5 landfalls, were very, very impactful to those areas of Central America and Mexico. And I actually appeared on screen. You'll rarely see me on screen. I try not to make on-screen appearances. I know I did for Katrina, as well as for Dean, and then in 2008 with Hurricane Ike. 2008 was more of the season like 2005, but to a much less extreme degree. Then we had the landfall in Texas, and it was only a Category 2, but the impact of the storm surge was that of a 4 or 5, and that's why those changes to the Saffir-Simpson scale were made. 2009, not much went on.
Now here's the visible satellite imagery a little bit closer, and you can see the eye of the hurricane starting to peek out there as it continues to move on off towards the northwest. Right there's the eye, and again, as this convection wraps around, that should be the end of the intensification.
In 2010, obviously, we had Hurricane Earl and Hurricane Igor and then Hurricane Tomas, which really, the impacts to Mexico that year were really big, and we provided our coverage of that as well with Alex and Carl and Richard and Paula and Tomas. It was a crazy season, but not for the U.S. We were lucky that year. but luck will run out sooner or later. But definitely the video podcasts that we do, certainly a part of IPR that are crucial to our coverage.